Hi, welcome to this module of tenders and contract documents. In the previous videos, we have discussed about several scenarios which is related to the construction project that requires the knowledge of tenders and contracts. There were a series of questions being asked trying to establish some information expectable from this module. It is also to trigger your interest over this module. The first impressions of the students related to the tenders and contract, it will be rather boring and theoretical. Especially in the program of civil engineering, we have at least one course related to the tenders and contract. In my university, we have a course called Estimating and Contract. It is basically related to the tenders and contract. They will also involve the BQ, Bill of Quantity. And then in the final years, with the integrated design project, students are given a project for them to come up with the BQ as well as the tender document, which in this case, students for the civil engineering in my university will at least required to deal with tenders and contract twice throughout the 4 years program study. And based on the feedbacks of our alumni, the students who have graduated, when they enter into the industry, their feedback is the tenders and contract documents are very important to them. It is one of the most important knowledge that they need to acquire so that they can perform well in the construction industry. With that, I would like to invite you to go through this module together with me and try to learn as much as you could, especially for the university students before entering into the industry. First of all, we will need to differentiate tender and contract. First, let us look at the tender document. A tender document is an offer in writing to contractors to execute some specific work or to supply specific materials within a fixed time frame as per the conditions of contract and agreement between the contractors and the owners. It is an offer to contractor, which at the same time provide detailed information regarding what is expected from the contractors in terms of their service. It can be in the mode of executing some construction works or supplying certain materials as per stated for the construction work. Normally, the specifications details are given so that the contractors know what is expected from them, quote for a price, and bid for the tender. The person called for tender is known as the employer. It is an opportunity being offered to the contractor to provide service to the employer. Based on the price quoted by the contractors, the employer will choose a contractor who he deemed to be able to provide the service at the cheapest possible price offered by the contractors. Nevertheless, the employer is not obligated to choose for the cheapest price as bid by the contractors. There are other considerations, including the reputations and the capacity of the contractors. A typical tender document contains the bill of quantities, the specifications of the works to be carried out, the time frame for the completions of work, the conditions of the contract, plans and drawings. This means by the time of offering for tender, all this should have already well planned. Now the employer is seeking for somebody to carry out the work. All these details are important to the contractor, which the contractors will need to base on in order to quote for a reasonable price to the employer. And this tender documents is normally provided to the contractor on the payments of certain fees. The purpose here is to prevent those contractors who are insincere, simply quoting price without the intentions or commitments. The payment fee normally involve the fee paid when the tender documents is acquired from the employer, as well as a deposit given to the employer when the contractors is submitting bidding for the tender. Normally, the contractor who quotes the lowest rate for the overall works are offered the contract to execute the work. This is provided that the quoted price is reasonable and the contractors is actually capable of carrying out the said work. Now we look at the contract document. It is basically the agreement between the owner or the employer and the contractors who has been awarded with the project to execute the work as specified in the tender document as per the conditions of contracts on the rates quoted by the contractors. That means this comes after the tender document. Tender document offers an opportunity for the contractors to bid for the project. Based on the information and details given, contractor quote a price to the employer. Out of many contractors quoting the price, the employer chooses one contractor to provide the service. This is when the contractor is awarded with the project. For the contractors who are not awarded with the project, the deposit paid to the employer shall be returned back to them, and the contractors awarded with the project will enter the contract document together with the employer. That means there will be an agreement between the contractors and the employer based on the conditions of contract as well as the rate quoted by the contractors. Thus, it is signed only with the contractors who is awarded with the project. And this contract document will bind the contractors to complete the work as per the agreement. Which on this matter, the tender documents do not actually bind the contractors.